Alright, so today what we're doing is we're doing multiplying and dividing scientific notation, and we're using a calculator. Last year when we did this, we did not use a calculator. We had to do it by hand, so you should already know how to do that. But this year I'm going to show you exactly how to plug it in this calculator, get through it, because, well, I don't want to spend a lot of time doing it, and I don't think you do either. So we're going to show you how to use the calculator, how to switch it between scientific and standard, and then also how to multiply and divide. Okay, so very important, but it's not hard if you know how to actually use your calculator. And basically that's what we're talking about, is how do we use our calculator. All right, so I've got some problems up here. We're going to plug these into our calculator over here. First thing you need to know, this is TI-330XS. You got to know how to use this thing. This is the one that we'll be using all throughout this class. And when you come in here and you start to take these and turn them into scientific notation, you need to check the mode on your calculator. That's one of the first things that we do. So we're going to go to mode and notice something. Right here you have it in math print. I'm going to put it into classic. I don't remember if this makes a difference on here, but I want it in classic just so that if I get decimal I can do that. It will when we go into standard form, it will make a difference, but right now it won't. The other thing is that since we're putting it into scientific notation, we want it in SCI. If we want our answers in scientific notation, you have to have it in SCI. Okay, so that's what we want. Our first couple we're going to do, we're going to put them into scientific, and then we're going to convert them back and forth, make it so we can see them. Okay, so once you've got it there, clear out of that. All right, and now we're going to plug in this number. And what we have is 5 times 10 to the third times 1.8 times 10 to the negative 7th, and these two things are being multiplied together. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Since it's multiplication, and all of its multiplication, I don't have to put parentheses around this. Okay, 5. And now you could put times 10, raise it to the deal, but on our calculator, it has this neat little deal, x 10 to the n, and it puts it up there for us. Times 10 raised to the third power. Okay? Times 1.8 x 10 to the n times 10 to the negative 7. Okay, so you're getting this little deal right here because we're in classic mode, not in math print mode. Okay, so that's the difference between classic and math print. And when I hit enter, I get 9 times 10 raised to the negative 4th. Okay. If I want to take this to standard, this right here is in scientific. If I want it in standard, I've got to go back to mode, change it to normal, clear out, and I should be able to just hit enter, and it'll give it to us in standard form. Notice 0.0009. Okay. Now, I don't think it matters if it's in classic or math print. Next one I'm going to put into math prints just to see, okay, because I can't remember. But that's exactly how you plug it in, right? Because it's all multiplication, it works. The division ones, you need to put parentheses around, okay? Because otherwise, it's the matter of orders of operations on what it's actually telling the calculator to do, okay? So here, we're going to go back, scientific, and let's put it in math print so you can see it that way too. So that you see both ways that this is working, right? Okay, so 5 times 10 to the third, 5 times 10 to the third, and see the difference between classic and math print? That's what you're getting here. Times 1.8 times 10 to the negative 7th, hit enter, 9 times 10 to the negative 4th, it's the same thing, right? Go back to mode, go back to normal, clear, hit enter, 0.0009. Same thing, didn't change anything. So being in math print or classic doesn't change anything, but scientific and standard does, okay? Not a big deal. Now, I'm going to show you without actually using x 10 to the nth, I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so we got this other problem. 6.3 times 10 to the negative 5th raised to the second power. And notice it's all of it being raised to the second power. So this, you need your parentheses. You need to have your parentheses here. So parentheses, first let's check our mode. Okay, so we want scientific answer, and then we'll switch it to standard. If all you want is the standard answer, leave it in normal. It'll take it straight into normal, okay? So parentheses, 6.3 times 10 raised to the -5th, arrow off of that, and close your parentheses. The common mistake here is to leave that parenthesis up there and then you get an error, okay? Raised to the second power. 6.3 times 10 to the -5th raised to the second power. Okay, and again, this is basically just how do you use your calculator. That's what this is. 3.969 times 10 to the -9. And then if I want that in normal mode, that's what we get, and it rounded it on us. Okay, because it can't keep going. 3.969, yeah, it rounded it. Okay, because it can't keep going for it. Okay, not a big deal. Pretty simple. I personally prefer math print until I start dealing with radicals. Then I want it in classic. Okay. Division. Division matters on how you plug it in. Okay. So there's a couple different ways that you can plug in the division. Now, you can do fractional, which is I prefer the fractional. Okay. 3.75 raised to 10 to the -9. Use this, not this. That's subtraction, that's your negative. That's a common mistake. Okay? So 3.75 times 10 to the -9 over 1.5 times 10 to the -4th. Okay, if you use the fraction, you don't need the parentheses. Okay, because it's already basically there. They're saying this part divided by this part. Okay, it'll do the multiplication first, then the division. Okay, then when you hit enter, oh, look at what form I got. I got standard form. I don't want standard form, I want scientific. Okay, mode, sci, enter. And I got it back in scientific notation. So if you're in standard form, you can go to scientific. If you're in scientific, you can go back to standard. Shouldn't be missing these. Okay? But now let's show you how to do it with that when I use this symbol. Same problem, so we know what the answer is, right? Okay? So same problem. Parentheses, 3.75 times 10 to the -9, arrow off, close out the parentheses. Divided by, okay? You have to put this in parentheses, otherwise it's going to do this division before the next multiplication. Parentheses, you need them here too. 1.5 times 10 to the -4th, arrow over, and close your parentheses. Then hit enter. Same answer, right? Got the same answer. So either way, whichever way you like best, I know what I prefer, but it doesn't matter because as long as you put the parentheses on this way, it works. Very simple, works though. Okay, we got one last one just in the division because I want to make sure you got this division down. Okay, and again, I'm going to use the fractional because I personally prefer that better. Now, if you're in math print, this is the type of fractional deal that you're going to get. If you're in classic, you're going to get the little slash. Okay, so I'm not sure about classic. Now let's do the classic version here. Mode. Here we go. And I would, if I did classic version using this, what was the division sign? Yeah, okay. I would probably put them in parentheses because I wouldn't want to test it, right? So parentheses, 2.135 times 10 raised to the 5th. Close it out. Notice I didn't have to arrow off of that. It was already there. We'll do this one first and then we'll do the other one. Divided by 3.5. And now what did I forget? And this is the reason I like the fractional in math print on this, is because here I forgot to put the parentheses here. Now I've got to arrow back and I've got to go back and I've got to insert that in there. 3.5 times 10 to the 12th power, arrow down, or didn't have to arrow down, there's my answer for that. 6.1 times 10 raised to the negative 8, okay? Now here, I'm gonna try this using the fractional button here, so, and see if it gets me back the same answer without the parentheses so that I know. Okay, so 2.135 raised to the 5th, divided by 3.5 raised to the 12th. Enter. Syntax error. Okay? You gotta have the parentheses there. Otherwise it's not gonna work. If you got the parentheses there, it's gonna get back. This is just not going to cut it for you. Okay? So I would leave it in math print. Leave it in math print. Use this for your division. It's gonna make it a lot easier, because if you forget to put the parentheses, it's not gonna affect it. Okay? It just makes it much easier. So 2.135 times 10 to the 5th over 3.5 times 10 to the 12th, enter, and it makes it a lot cleaner. It's just a lot cleaner on how you do that. That's how I do that. Guys, that's really all there is to plugging this stuff into the calculator. Again, you can switch from normal to scientific, no problem, and it'll give you an answer. Make sure you know how to switch back and forth from scientific to normal, normal to scientific. It's not a big deal. That's really how you use your calculator when dealing with scientific notation. If you have any questions, let me know.